Cursed by the old gods in Bethany, we are 5 immortals doomed to roam the galaxy until we complete our 1001 tasks. After centuries of our memories stick around, ready to complete our destiny and die. We are, for now, the immortals. It's episode 94.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Woo.
Yeah.
We
cool.
did it.
Was this a major goal post for us?
Every time we get closer to 100, which is actually a very small percentage of what we actually need to do, it feels more impressive.
I mean,
like,
It's a hefty chunk.
like going from 93 to 94 is like, holy shit. Because
no.
You know what, partly it's because since we had our memories wiped and we can only remember the past like 20, 30 years, I have thoughts about 1993 and 1994 as opposed to just like the 70s as a blur.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Kind of.
Hey, thanks for all you backing me up.
What does this have to do with episode 100 and...
I don't know, just big numbers. It's like we're doing something.
I guess. Well, we are.
Guys, this we have to keep people listening to the show beyond this point.
It's gonna be great.
To be
Drop off after
fair,
100.
this is the part where I'm usually not paying attention anyway, because Sarah and Pedro are babbling about numbers.
This is true.
There's nothing that exciting about 94.
47, twice that.
It's the atomic number of plutonium, which is cool.
I like plutonium.
It helps with time travel.
Sure.
It does.
Yeah.
It also powers spacecraft.
Is this powering our spacecraft?
No, reviews are powering our spacecraft.
Right.
Oh, okay. God, this makes sense. Anyway, we're the Immortals. I'm Austin.
I'm Adam.
Oh, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
And I'm Pedro.
And we are nailing it every week. We are the Immortals, and every week we review the 1001 movies, albums, food, songs, TV shows, and children's books that you must consume before you die. We are currently traveling a spaceship that Pedro built to go find the enemy of our enemy, the old gods,
Sure.
Bethany. Meanwhile, we're just kind of cruising, doing our thing, reviewing the stuff. That's what we're doing. This feels clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
This
clear.
isn't like a super convoluted life we have, right? Totally normal.
Well, the fact that you messed it up and we're not searching for the enemy of our enemy. We're just searching for the enemy.
Huh?
Well, no, it's the enemy of our enemy, because we're wanting the old gods to help defeat Bethany. And
Okay,
Bethany
yeah, I guess.
exiled the old gods.
I kind of lump them all together at this point.
All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna do well. We're gonna really convince them to help us and be fine.
Sure.
Until
That's
then,
good.
we're gonna review the 519th entry of all that shit we do.
Cool.
I feel you guys aren't excited about this.
Well, maybe we should start
what's-
getting going,
what's
and
What's
then
the
we'll
movie?
be
Maybe I'm
going
excited
on?
about the
I'll
movie.
be excited.
How do you
about
not know
the-
what the
We've been
movie
building
is?
up on this intro for at least 10 minutes now.
Oh,
So
boy.
let's just get to it, and then
All
we'll be
right.
very excited.
Oh boy, I don't like any of you. All right, the movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Woo!
Son of a bitch.
See?
We can get excited about things. The album is Soul Mining by The.
I actually listened to it.
Woo!
The food is Rex de Poitou. We're not eating it, it's cute.
The song is Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang.
Best song ever.
The children's book is A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas.
And the TV show is Pride and Prejudice. But first, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Welcome. It's nice to have you here. I'm so glad you could come. This is going to be such an exciting day. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. And now, would you please show me your golden tickets?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is the 70s film adapted from the beloved Roald Dahl novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It stars Gene Wilder as the titular owner of a chocolate factory who has been a recluse for many years at a mysterious chocolate factory. One day he decides to hide 5 golden tickets in his bars of chocolate. People all over the world try to find it, and 5 kids do. We have the gluttonous Augustus Gloop. We have the bratty Veruca Salt. Veruca. We have the consumer-obsessed Mike TV. We have the very sweet and poor Charlie Bucket. And we have Violet Beauregard, who likes gum.
Yeah.
She's the gum one.
Yeah.
She's the gum one. I
That-
think
it doesn't fit into like, sins very well.
I think her fundamental sin is maybe that she's kind of gross.
Well, there was some pride in there or something, because she always wanted to one-up her friend, and anytime her dad was trying to, sell his business, she would bottom out and be like, me, in front of the camera, because me.
Well, to be fair, she was a little bit more important than her sleazy, gross dad.
That's true.
Very true.
But yeah, this is a really beloved film. Seems too popular to be called a cult film, but it was never the biggest financial success. Never had the sequel or anything like that. But it is a beloved movie, musical as well. What do we all think? Does it hold up to childhood memories?
Well, here's the thing. Childhood memories are bad for it. Because although I love the film, my girlfriend and I were talking about this, kind of sick of it. Still. Even still. And
Interesting.
she was so sick of it, she just decided to read the book while the movie was going on, because it's short enough, you can read it in a couple hours. The book sounded better, even though I like the film a lot.
Yeah, the book is one of the greatest classics of children's literature. The movie's really good, though. I also felt like I had a lot of memories of the movie, like I'd seen it a lot of times as a kid, but I thought it really held up. Like, Gene Wilder's performance is just phenomenal. But the little kid who plays Charlie Bucket's really good, too. The little kid who plays Veruca Salt is really excellent. She, like, steals the scene every time. She's completely hilarious as this over-the-top brat. Just, like, not a bad delivered line from her. She's great. And it's lovely. It's this lovely... Gene Wilder clearly has a really specific perspective on Willy Wonka, who is definitely one of those characters who could be a lot of different things, and he's kind of mysterious. I think it's great.
I've always liked Gene Wilder more than the film itself, I think. There's a lot of like really nice parts throughout the movie, and some excellent songs, and some songs, but...
Cheer up, Charlie.
That one's the worst.
I keep forgetting that one exists.
You know what's even crazier this time through? When his mom is next to a dumpster fire and singing Cheer Up, Charlie. Charlie was right next to her previously. She's saying encouraging words to Charlie after he's left.
Yeah.
It's definitely strange.
Anywho, one of my favorite Gene Wilder stories that I read about in his memoir was he was really kind of wrestling about taking this part. They kind of like asked him a lot of times and he wouldn't say yes. And he ultimately said yes under one condition, which was he wanted to add something to the script in which after building up his character the entire movie and talking about the genius Willy Wonka, he wanted to appear to the public in the first time and he wanted to walk with a limp. He wanted to walk the limb for a long time until it does a large somersault and jumps up. And he goes, that way at that moment, you'll never know what's real. And they, of course, said yes, because that's a great note for your script.
Yeah.
And it holds up because Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka is not the Father Christmas-like character.
No.
He's brilliant and insane and dangerous in a way that's closer to the Doctor than Father Christmas, because
Yeah.
I
see that comparison.
He kind of kills off 5 kids. The 4 kids, sorry.
Well, they don't... Okay, to be clear, although they don't show this in the movie, I realize, they don't, which is true because it's weird. They don't show it in the movie.
They never show it.
In the movie, it seems like they die, doesn't
Yep.
it? Because in the book, they definitely don't die. At the end of the book, Violet Beauregard has to be juiced, which is mentioned.
Well,
and so she ends up like, she's fine, she's just blue.
Mike TV's
and like
all stretched out.
Mike TV's all stretched out because they had to stretch him out because he was so...
Well,
Violet is
small.
still Violet.
Yeah, Violet.
She'll remain Violet, but she got...
Yeah, she's still purple.
But even with all those, he says basically maybe. Like with Veruca, after she falls through the bad egg grate, he says the furnace may or may not be on this day. They may or may not be able to dejuice her. He's implying that these kids, like...
Yeah, he's cool with them dying, though. Like, that would be okay with him.
Yeah, and after Mike TV, he has that silent conversation that we don't hear with the Oompa Loompas, and then all we hear is, no, I won't hold you responsible.
It really, it is delightful and dark.
Well, he has a psycho cave.
Funny. Like, it's funny, though.
It's
Like,
very
it's
funny.
a very funny movie.
And much like the Doctor or even Legends of the Hidden Temple, it is a dangerous that you want to stick around with. Like, I love that Nickelodeon game show, Legends of the Hidden Temple, because it had the crazy awesome maze at the end, which you go try to win in a trip to space camp. The odds of winning that are so absurdly low. It is so hard to run through a giant maze in 3 minutes. And yet you all want to do it. And you want to go to the chocolate factory, even though there is a high chance of being murdered.
Yeah. Oh, I totally want to go there.
Adam, we reviewed James and the Giant Peach, the novel, a couple of episodes back. How do you think this did as a Roald Dahl adaptation?
Well, Roald Dahl did it. The screenplay.
Did he?
The screenplay.
I didn't even notice. Awesome.
So, pretty well.
That helps.
Yeah, he kind of got the essence of Roald Dahl. I think.
Good. Got the voice.
Yeah, but no, I feel like it is a very characteristically Roald Dahl kind of thing. Because what I love about this is that Willy Wonka is set up to be so much this, like, especially in that first song, which is so good in the candy shop.
Oh, incredible.
Talking about the Candyman and how benevolent and wise and good he is. And then once we finally figure out what he's actually like, it's just such a good turn in the film, and that's Roald Dahl. It's the kind of whimsy mixed with serious death, and Man.
It's so curious. I didn't know that Dahl wrote the screenplay because I always kind of thought Cheer Up Charlie I thought was never a Dahl kind of thing. The studio put that was too sappy for Roald Dahl, I thought. I guess this is Dahl. I'm still so bewildered every time I watch it. Everything that happens before the Chocolate Factory ranges from like a good satire to bonkers. And especially as a kid, those one-off scenes, like with the therapist and the woman whose husband is being kidnapped, I kept thinking, even as a kid, before I even like thought about structure and whatnot, like, are they going to come back to this? This
Nope.
This woman has her husband kidnapped, and they're asking for her carton of Wonka bars, and she wants time to think about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's very strange.
Lee, are you charmed by this film?
I love this movie.
I do too.
Gene Wilder is like one of my earliest crushes, so this movie always has a really special place in my heart. And I haven't actually watched it in a few years, so watching it again recently was really great, I feel, because I had enough time to get over the burnout that Pedro mentioned, because a lot of people our age, when they were teenagers, loved how crazy and wild this movie was, so it got played to death. But I think it works really well, even watching it later as an adult. It's a movie that the jokes, there are jokes that you catch this time around that you didn't before, which I really appreciate. It's a movie that you can grow with and still get something new from it every single time you see it.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I'm obsessed with this movie. I enjoyed it so much. It's so great.
It has so many great lines that, like, I find myself saying all the time, like, button, who's got the button? Like, whenever I can't find something.
Well, it's kind of, whenever anyone asks Willy Wonka a direct question, he responds back with a beautiful line of poetry that has nothing to do with what they asked.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And especially when an adult asks him a question, because he finds every adult intolerable. And I love it because, I mean, Willy Wonka is a devious character, and there's a small thing I noticed this time that, like, you could tell his bias right away, because when he meets all 5 kids at the gate, he shakes their hand and says something nice to all of them. But when he gets to Charlie, he says, I read about you in the papers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Implying that he knows who they all are.
Oh, yeah.
He saw all these videos that we saw, but Charlie's one that he actually read about and liked. Which I thought was a very interesting thing because, I mean, he makes them sign a completely illegal contract. Sarah, back me up on that?
Oh, yeah, no, not okay. There's a lot of, well, let's just say, if I wanted to do a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory episode of Ad Absurdum, I would have a lot to say. Yeah,
and I did enjoy how the film had a very interesting message about class. And
oh, yeah.
You always kind of feel it more in British tales, and we're going to get this in Pride and Prejudice. Like, there's very much awareness of class and status. Unexpected MVP character for me this time around was Charlie's teacher, who looks like Steve Coogan.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
This is the most bizarre set of scenes. And then, again, the first half of the movie, I think I'd totally forgotten. Those scenes are weird.
They're really
And
weird.
it's so much fun, though.
Yeah.
I love them.
No, they're great.
He's fun, and there's a point when, you know, they think the contest is over and he's teaching them percentages, but he's clearly in a terrible mood, which is very funny because he dismissed class previous scene because there was this contest in general. He teaches them, like, how many, like, he asked everyone how many bars of chocolate they bought. He's going to do that percentage out of 1,000. He had kids who bought 100, 150 bars of chocolate. And Charlie could afford 2. And then he mocks him for just buying 2 for this contest. And then says, I can't do the math for that.
Yeah.
Which makes him a terrible teacher.
Right. Oh, of course, yeah.
But then also, I love that the big creation that Willy Wonka's working on is this everlasting gobstopper. And it is designed, according to Willy Wonka, to be for those who can't afford chocolate.
Yeah.
That it's designed that it can be a one-time purchase that you can kind of keep enjoying forever. It's just a really curious thing because the film is very kind of smart about how we deal with kind of these kind of contests where you think it's kind of a fair contest where everyone who buys chocolate bars has the same advantage, but you have people who are buying cartons upon cartons. Like the Salts are having these workers
over 700,000 bars of chocolate.
Right.
19,000 an hour.
And it's insane. And that's how it would play out, wouldn't it? Like you would have someone
of
buy
course, yeah.
Someone would.
turn around. Also, absolute brilliant marketing campaign. I imagine anyone who had Wonka stock was very happy that
Oh,
year.
Yeah, totally. The there is like a Wonka candy company now, which is like
It just ended this year.
oh, did it?
This is the first year in like forever. There's
Who's
no
it under?
Wonka candy.
It's
Is it Mars?
I
Mars
think
Wrigley?
it's Mars.
Nice.
I actually always really liked their candy, and they did a golden ticket thing once when I was a kid. It was
That's
not that
cute.
exciting though. Like I don't remember what you won, but it was not a magical trip into a crazy,
Well-
existentially challenging factory. Which
Yeah.
fuck that.
That boat scene, real quick.
That boat scene. What is that boat scene? What are the images going on in the background?
Well, just describe the scene.
Why?
for the
Okay,
viewers.
this song, which is "There's no knowledgeable way of
There's no earthly
way of knowing what direction we are going," where they go through this tunnel, like, is crazy, and is like in the book. I remember thinking like, "Oh, they're going through like a crazy tunnel."
It's the same
with, like,
rhyme.
yeah, no, it's the same. But the images that play in the movie, in the backdrop, are not just weird or psychedelic. They are, like, genuinely disturbing pictures of reptiles trying to, like, eat things. It's just a really strange
The
collection of
chicken
videos.
getting the head cut off was
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly
it's
the worst
really
one.
fucked up. Like, I do not remember this from childhood at all.
I
This
did.
is
Really?
bonkers.
This was the first time I
I
saw a
did.
chicken get its head cut off. 'Cause
I
I
mean,
don't
fair,
think that
I-
was fake.
I think I blocked it out. I'm like, what? I wouldn't even say that it's a good scene. Like, it doesn't work for me. It's just creepy.
Well, it's insane.
Yeah.
And it's insane in a way that it hits the momentum really well for me because it's right after the first kid leaves.
Mhm.
So you think he'd be wanting to comfort them. Instead, he puts them through a hell ride.
Yeah, no, he's not interested in
And
comfort.
then you also reminded of the strange corruption threat because you have Slughorn's
Mhm.
face
Oh, right.
being like looming over as the thing that haunts
Slugworth.
Slugworth. I
Slugworth,
apologize.
yeah.
Slughorn is a Harry Potter character.
He is
Yes. And it's insane. And you have Willy Wonka. First of all, like, if you imagine that he did not change his shop around for a tour, he just has that. And he enjoys it. And he's the closest he is to being Frankenstein, screaming the rhyme at the end. His hair is crazy as possible. And the rhyme stops making sense in a way as well. It starts saying things like, and the danger must be growing because the rowers keep on rowing. Like implying the rowers are wanting to row towards the danger, I imagine. Yeah, it's great. And then it just stops, and this is a very dull-looking room. Yeah, we talk so much about the children's books every week. Does this work as a good children's movie? Is it more for the fucked up adult brain, or does it serve a good, fun, moral lesson element?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it
it's
does.
great, yeah.
I mean, kids like it, and at the very worst, they'll block out all the bad stuff.
Apparently.
But
Yeah, no, I did not remember those crazy chicken scenes at all.
the opener, you get hungry, you have to have some chocolate. I had to dig out some chocolate from my house, and then
What do
you
mean
have
dig
the-
out?
I don't eat chocolate that often.
No. Where are they buried?
In my pantry.
This is a weird spaceship. Anywho, go on.
But, it has a moral lessons. Clearly, Veruca's a bitch, and you would hate
Aw, she's too young to
being
call
like
her a bitch.
a
She's a brat.
A brat.
Okay, Grandpa Joe is mean to her.
Grandpa Joe is really mean to her.
Grandpa Joe's just
Grandpa
a salty
Joe is
grandpa.
awful.
I like him a lot because he's awful. Like, I realize now that he is an old, angry man who does not pull any punches, and I appreciate
Mhm.
that now.
He was in a bed for 20 years.
Because
Right.
he's a lazy motherfucker.
Yeah, he clearly, he stands up just fine at the
Oh,
end.
wait, I get some free chocolate?
And then,
I'm
walks
good.
around the whole place without needing to take a break or stop. Just
Power of
saying.
Wonka.
He had a good song, though. I actually kind of forgave him for being a lazy asshole, because
I didn't like it when Charlie jumped in, actually, during his song. I preferred him singing
No.
it.
Charlie can't sing.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, he's not great.
But, no, I think it's a great kid's film.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of imagination that goes into it that I think is really important for kids. And then, as we were all saying, there were jokes that we understood as adults that makes it worthwhile, I think, for everybody.
I don't know what age I finally caught the, no, stop, wait.
He
Yeah.
does that so often.
Yeah.
Of Wonka, just he tries to tell him to stop, and then when he doesn't listen, he just starts being sarcastic.
And again, like, that is a total, like, that's a Gene Wilder choice, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, absolutely.
I always read the book, actually, as Willy Wonka, in many ways, having a genuine test between the children to see it. So I always read that as, like, no, stop, wait, don't do it! And the Gene Wilder version is so much bitchier.
There is a way to redo this story as a horror film. Not just because, like, oh, you do the editing like on those YouTube videos. These characters should treat this like Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street because they keep getting knocked off. Stop touching things. The last two remaining just, like, have their hands in their pockets, afraid. So Mike TV just, like, jumps in, like, I got this. I'm like, why? Why do you think this would work out for you based on anything that has happened before?
Because children are dumb.
Children are dumb. But before we end this segment, I do want to talk about this article that came out last week in the New York Times. Adam, do you want to describe what happened in this article?
Yeah, well, Roald Dahl's wife talked about this first draft of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was called
Charlie's Chocolate Boy.
Charlie's Chocolate Boy. And in it, Charlie is black. And there are 7 kids, and they go to the factory. And he, instead of, like, the bubble room, the thing that Charlie does, he gets somehow trapped in a chocolate mold among other chocolate molds of boys. And he ends up going back to...
Pedro's backing away from the mic right now.
Yeah. He ends up going back to Willy Wonka's house with his wife, and it's Christmas. And then there are burglars that come in and steal Wonka's jewels and valuables. And because there are eye holes in the chocolate boy, the black Charlie sees the burglars do it and kind of saves the day from there and gets rewarded a chocolate shop. Not the whole factory, but, you know, he gets...
One store on the corner.
One store on the corner.
Yeah, and there's also the point in the article about how, like, in the manuscript, Charlie, as a young black boy, was, like, really interested in the other chocolate boys because, like, it was kids who look like him.
Yeah. And then in the article, it goes on to say, like, is that better or worse than the Oompa Loompas?
You know, what's more race awkward?
Yeah.
Because in the books, the Oompa Loompas are much more slave-like than in the movie. In the movie, they really seem like workers who are... I mean, they're effective, but they're insane.
And they had rough lives and were happily removed from their homes.
They were prey in their homes.
Yeah.
I do love that was one of the best back and forths with one of the parents. They're from Lupaland. Lupaland, I'm a 6th grade geography teacher. Oh, so you know all about it. Yeah, this manuscript sounds insane. The article really kind of depicted it more as him being a lot more race conscious and making this more a metaphor for class and race and more sensitive than other works he has. But it still sounds bonkers. I don't think we'll ever see the context for it, but yeah, what do you think, Adam?
I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like, I feel like what we got was better, but yeah.
I did see an interesting counter argument to this. It makes the Grandpa Joe character a lot worse if Charlie is black.
Why?
Because then it feeds into the racial stereotype of old lazy black men.
Oh. You know, it's funny. I actually never interpreted him as lazy. How I actually read the book was that in fact he is very sick, and they're all very sick, and that the Wonka magic of youth has sort of revitalized him, but that he is like an old, sick man.
I do like that he is aware that instead of, if bread counts as a feast, do not buy my tobacco. So that was actually a nice moment of him in the movie. But let's not end on the downer of this what if manuscript. Let's want to say what their favorite song is.
Come with me.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Pure Imagination is
Pure Imagination is awesome.
beautifully done by Gene Wilder, especially as the more he sings it, he's actually barely looking at the children. He just kind of enjoys the world so much.
Well, his creation.
It's
in
great,
Candyman.
yeah. What do you get with the comment? But when he does the kids, it's very subtle. Like, he just kind of, like, knocks the candy out of the tree. And I love him having that tea leaf, literally.
Yeah, that's...
Where he drinks that, then he bites it.
What do you think it tastes like inside?
I just imagined
Smells
it
very-
was paraffin wax.
So, I mean, yeah, Pure Imagination is, I think, masterful.
Yeah, Candyman's great too.
Do you guys like the Oompa Loompa songs?
No, they're super weird.
Really?
I liked it, like, the first time.
I
you
did
hear
too.
it.
Yeah. They're just so they have some like way of speaking that it's just saying Oompa Loompa is just so funny to me.
It's a great fake word. That's true.
Yeah.
Anyone have a favorite kid?
Veruca, for sure. In the movie.
Yeah, I think in the movie, I like Veruca the best.
That's probably.
I mean, obviously, Willy Wonka's like the best character in fiction.
Right.
So.
Right. But I think that she has the most relatable personality almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or like the most well-defined, I guess.
Yeah.
I like Violet if only for the joke. You're turning violet, Violet!
That was well delivered. Yeah, there's a reason that a lot of memes keep going around with quotes from our president with Veruca Salt on them.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah wah.
Hinges! I get 4. I like it.
Ooh, man. 4.3.
I say I'm gonna do 4.
Oh, really? I really love this movie. I'm actually gonna say 4.7. I really love this movie.
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
Alright, that is Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. Oh, should we even mention the remake?
No.
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 Okay.
There is a remake. That's what we can say.
There we go. Now it's time for something else. Lee, what do we listen to?
We listened to Soul Mining by The.
Couldn't buy back those days. You fall back your hands and the sun burns into your eyes. You watch your plane flying across a big blue sky. This is the way your life will surely change. This is the day when things fall into place.
This is The's debut album, Soul Mining, came out in 1981. It is the frontman's second album. Matt Johnson did an album before this, and he is one of those people. He is the much like Trent Reznor is 9 Inch Nails. They just have various artists come in and help record various albums with them. And it's a very distinct sound.
Really?
I was bored. Yeah, like
I was
it
about
is
to
a
say,
very
it didn't seem very distinct to me.
It seemed like
No, it's
light David Bowie.
It's a very specific sound. A specific sound. How about that?
Huh.
I had never heard the before until I recognized like 2 of the songs. Upon listening to this, I went, oh yeah, that's famous. I really liked this. I think this hit my kind of like British popness of like, yes, that's David Bowie light at times. Yes, that's a bit sometimes Talking Heads at times.
Yeah, I put this on in the background while I was working. I was thinking at the time, like, this is good, working to music. I enjoyed it just fine. I don't remember anything about it particularly. It just didn't stick with me. There wasn't anything I felt like, ooh, that's interesting. I want to listen to that again. But just sort of, I think that one of the top 1,000 albums to listen to before you die should be more than just good listening.
No, I agree. I felt the exact same way when I listened to this. I listened to this 5 times today, and I couldn't tell you a single song about it or a specific detail about it. It was just generic 80s synth pop, which isn't bad if that's what you want to listen to. Oftentimes at work, when I am trying to get stuff done, I will just go to YouTube and find vaporwave or like retro wave mixes that sound just like this album. I mean, it's not bad to listen to. It's just not something that I would want to put on when I want to have a party, maybe, or like have a sing along. It didn't strike a chord with me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Today I was just doing some easy editing and data entry that Pedro says helps keep the oxygen things working. I don't know.
Sure.
But I just kind of had this on, and it flew by. This is one of our longer albums, one that actually goes past an hour. And yet I really liked it. I actually want to hear more by the... I mean, their name's stupid. I want to be perfectly clear.
Yeah, the name is not great. I'm not a fan of the name.
You gotta love the stuff pre-Google.
I kind of love the name, I'm not gonna lie. I got a kick out of it.
I think it's just one of those, all bands are called the something. Why don't we just be the?
Yeah, it's like, it's not actually a creative idea. But whatever.
Yeah.
It's cute. I'm into it.
They should have appeared on Friends.
Yep.
So there could be an
The
episode called...
with the.
The one with the. Yeah.
The one with the would be what you would, yeah.
I will say I really like the album artwork for this. For
It was
the original.
cool.
It's neat. It's by Matt Johnson's brother. he actually did the artwork for it, so that was pretty cool. And one thing that, like, I really enjoy, I usually listen to these albums on YouTube. I find compilations or I find the artist page, and every single time the top comment is, no matter what the album is, this is the best album of all time. Oh my god, I love it. And I really appreciate that, because it's like, okay, I'm not the only one who's listening to this, and there are people who find enjoyment out of this, so I'm going to try to find something positive about it. So it's just a nice little ray of sunshine.
Yeah, this was a happy discovery for me. I like this one. It should be more articulate, but I think people should check it out. Let's do some hinges, though.
I'll give it a 3.
I'll give it 4.
3.
Alright, that is Soul Mining by The. Now it's time for the food segment. Sarah, what is this thing we're not eating?
We're not eating Rex de Poitou because it's a cute fuzzy bunny that you can only get in Europe. As far as I can tell, it's also bred for its fluffy fur. So I don't really know why I would want to eat one. So no.
Well, if this is definitely the list that we're cursed by in the next 18 years, we're going to go slaughter some cute bunnies.
I'll eat it.
That works.
Yeah. Pedro will get it for us.
Lots of animals are cute and we eat them.
Yeah, that's it.
These are, like, I guess it is surprising to me that that a food would be on the list where they seem to have been specifically bred to be cute. Like, it's just odd that the food list would include that rabbit.
Well, I think next week is a corgi, right?
Yeah, tasty corgi, you mean?
Yeah. Alright, that's time for the song segment. Pedro.
The song is Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang.
I said a hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop. You don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat, and me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I like
Rapper's Delight is a song by the Sugar Hill Gang. Let's see, came out, I think it was first released in 80, but came out 79 maybe as a single. You all know this song.
Yes!
It's been heard a million times and has very famous opening lines.
It's also been sampled by friggin' everybody.
Yes. And it is wonderful. It is one of the first, not the first, but one of the first songs that was completely rapped all the way through. And I guess
Really?
apparently sort of birthed a certain rap hip-hop thing.
What year was it?
79, 80.
Okay.
Well, it has that early rap that I keep liking on the show, like Arrested Development.
Mm-hmm. Way earlier.
Yes.
But
Apparently this is the origin.
This is earlier
of
than Arrested
rap.
Development.
Well, this is the origin of recorded rap.
Yes.
Right.
Because there was a lot of parties where people would rap, but this was someone who came to, like,
Put it all together.
like a baker and a butcher. These guys just had, like, normal jobs. I don't think they were trying to be rappers.
No.
And just said, hey, can we do this song? One guy, I think, actually stole some of his verses from another rapper who's less famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stole / homage.
And I think it was the verse that was about not letting another MC steal your rhymes.
Ah. Is that the one that ended with a settlement where they both got to receive credit for the song moving forward?
Was it? Maybe.
Yeah, there was a lawsuit early on, and it was fine. They both got to make money off of it. I read somewhere that it was all done in one take, which is ridiculous because the album version is 14 minutes something long, which is the one that I listen to
Me too.
the most.
It's so great.
The single version's like 5 minutes, 4 or something. Not as fun, actually. I listened to that a handful of times, but I like the long version more because I just like how it keeps going. The fact that they continuously rap so steadily makes it so that the evolution of the song is entirely in the background music and the instruments that decide to come in and not come in and the key that they will go into. And the voice is just a constant. It's almost like a drum beat, a more effective drum beat. It's just so fun. I don't know.
It reminded me of...
The lyrics are so crazy, and they're super fun.
Well, it reminded me of a perhaps more coherent version of a song that I loved more than you guys. Back from episode 21, we reviewed the song 21 Seconds.
Oh, yeah.
In which a series of rappers keep taking turns to do 21-second.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the songs I've re-listened to the most from this podcast.
Yeah.
It's so catchy and so much fun.
It
And
is.
it's had the same kind of vibe of like using the speed of the genre just to do
Mhm.
really clever things.
And see, I was reminded of The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious
Oh,
Five,
excellent.
which we reviewed on episode 25, which was produced by the Sugar Hill Gang record label, Sugar Hill Records.
Excellent.
Interesting.
I'm learning so much more about rap.
We're the whitest people
I'm
ever.
learning so much.
I
And
don't think
parts from
so.
Chic's Good Times.
What? Oh, you
These
said-
two guys sued Sugar Hill Records, Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards.
I don't know. There's this documentary series on Netflix called The Evolution of Hip Hop, which I saw recently, and this song was heavily featured. And they interviewed the guy who said that the other guy used his verses. I don't know if any legal action was taken or anything.
Well, if it's the same guy that's quoted later, he apparently says that even though he didn't like it at first, it's now one of his favorite songs.
Really?
It's a great song.
So is it great beyond the status of being first?
It's not even first, though.
You just said it was first.
It was one of the first. It's like first big recognized, sort of, maybe, but not really. There were others before.
Like, yes, it is a great song.
That should spur some conversation. I wasn't trying to debate anything. Just, I don't know.
Good.
It's good stuff. Hinges?
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying.
4.8.
4.8.
4.5.
3.8.
Or
Cool.
All right, that is Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. Get a quarter of an hour and listen to it.
We're getting an hour and listen to it 4 times.
Oh.
Yeah, just stop doing shit
And have
today and
a couple
listen to the
minutes
song.
a couple minutes to spare.
to be fair, you could one time or 4 times. It's pretty much the same thing the entire time.
That is true, but it doesn't stop being awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now it's time for the children's book, which is really more of a children's short story this time. What do you read, Adam?
It's called A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. And it's originally something that he wrote for radio in 1952. And it's essentially about a kid who does various things on Christmas. And it's really well written. There's a lot of interesting prose. It's just like a very happy, nostalgic story where things go well. And it's a good Christmas overall.
Yeah, it's nice, and it isn't as sappy,
Yeah.
I feel. It's good, has some fun to it, but there's also some oddities to it, some strangeness to it, and in ways that I like in Christmas stories, rather than just the Hallmark Channel
Mhm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else read this?
No, I didn't.
It's the great thing to read in the beginning of October.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 This Welsh Christmas story.
Gearing up for Christmas all year round.
Describe some stuff that happens in this, because it's odd, to me at least. I don't know.
Well,
Did you listen to it?
I did listen to it. Yeah, I listened to it like it was a Harper Collins podcast. I found it on SoundCloud,
Okay.
and it's Dylan Thomas reading it, and his voice is enchanting. So I recommend doing that. You know what? It's like they were just like vignettes where nothing happened, Austin. I can't remember what happened.
That's why I
Yeah.
was asking you to do it.
I know. Yeah, I mean it's good. It's just not a memorable story.
I enjoyed the section we talked about the useful presents. Let me read a part here. There were the useful presents, engulfing mufflers of the old coach days and mittens made for giant sloths, zebra scars of a substance like silky gum that could be tug-of-warred down to the galoshes, blinding tam o' shanters like patchwork tea cozies and bunny-suited busbies, and baklavas for victims of head-shrinking tribes. It just keeps going on of these really curious prose, and then he has a longer section about the useless presents, which include bags of moist and many-colored jelly beans, and a false nose, and a tram conductor's cap, and a machine that punched tickets and rang a bell. I don't know. It has like the illusion like you're reading something like A Christmas Carol, where it has kind of this grand prose to it, but also it's very silly. And at the end, it's not like exactly like warm and the warmest thing in the world. It's just at the very end of the story, it ends. I turned the gas down. I got into bed. I said some words to the clothes in holy darkness, and then I slept.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, yeah, it was a good day. I liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I would see it more as non-verse poetry
Yes.
than like a story.
I enjoyed when I was reading parts aloud, because it kind of had that kind of prose
Yeah.
that you want to say.
Yeah, and Dylan Thomas has a very rich voice. he says sloth instead of sloth.
Ah.
So that's the idea of what you're getting into.
It's a good note. I should get into that.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it. I want to now.
You should.
And they've adapted this 1,000 times too. Like this has been
Mhm.
like little Christmas specials for various British TV.
Yeah.
Not as much America. Yeah, I think we hear a title called A Child's Christmas in Wales. We're like, whoa, Wales is not a state of ours.
Yeah. That
We're
sounds like some Pinocchio shit.
Also, most people don't know what Wales is.
Mm-hmm. Christmas in Wales.
Wales. Anything else?
No. 3.7.
3.5. That is A Child's Christmas in Wales. You can find that audio for free. Also, it is free on the Gutenberg.net. So, take a read or listen, perhaps in 2 months. Or now, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Pride and Prejudice, so I'm going to. Pride and Prejudice is the 1995 miniseries that is based off a novel by Jane Austen. It's a very popular novel because this has been adapted 1,000 times. It has been made into many movies. It has been made into a modern web series. It has been made into a zombie novel, a movie of a zombie novel, and way too many novels that are homages that suck. This is considered almost unanimously the most beloved adaptation.
Certainly the most definitive.
Yes.
It's yeah.
It is a 6-hour tale of Elizabeth Bennet and her 4 sisters as they are looking to get married. It's really kind of more of their parents push the most. It's not exactly like Elizabeth's waking thought. But ultimately, the grand romance centers around her and a curmudgeon named Mr. Darcy. In this version played by Colin Firth, which made him a romantic symbol for still many, many people. And this is a, I think, rather good adaptation. I like the book quite a bit. I've enjoyed versions like the Keira Knightley one from about a decade ago. I've seen a fraction of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, which I think is rather good.
I love Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
I need to finish it. It's so well adapted. That's the modern version of seeing it as a series of vlogs. Is that word still used?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Sure. But this one is completely of the time. It is having the exact costumes and looks of everything. And I'm not a huge fan of the main actress, Jennifer Ehle, E-H-L-E, which is popular if you have done a crossword recently. She's in it a lot. But yeah, so I didn't fall in love with this one immediately, but there were so many kind of well-cast people, especially when you have someone as brilliant as like Anna Chancellor, as Mrs. Bennet, not Miss Bennet, as Mrs. Bentley. And yeah, I don't know, but Colin Firth is an excellent Mr. Darcy, perhaps still the best Mr. Darcy. And I think part of the reason why I always enjoyed this book over other ones of its subgenre is that I think Mr. Darcy is the romantic figure that so many guys like, because you first meet him at a ball and his position is that he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to dance. He finds all this annoying and he wants to go home because he's an asshole. And I go, yes, I can relate to this character.
Oh boy.
I also don't want to be at the dance right now. And the reason why he becomes not just a complete ass in the first scene is because he ends up having great banter and kind of coming to terms with Bennet, who's another fantastic character. So I enjoy this miniseries. Anyone else watch it?
I tried. I really tried. I hate it so much that I can't watch more than like 5 minutes of it at a time without becoming irrationally angry. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I couldn't even tell you why. I cannot watch this. It is something about I find it shrill. And I've never been a fan of period stuff. And I don't like Pride and Prejudice that much. So I'm not going to henge it. But I do want everyone...
Because you saw 10 minutes of 6 hours.
But I do want everyone to know that I hate it.
I mean, this isn't a very big spaceship. So when this was coming up...
Hate it.
He said, hey, wait for me for this one. I said, okay. We came into the bunk, watched 10 minutes and said, fuck this. And went off to a different part of the ship.
I hate it.
I had to watch the next 5.5 hours in secret.
Hate it.
It's good.
Okay.
Is that the one I'd recommend? It is still, I think, one of the better versions I've seen. There's a strange one called Lost in Austin, where a modern girl accidentally goes back in fictional time to be inside the novel. And that one's only fun because Alex Kingston plays Mrs. Bennet, and she's River Song. That's great. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice, I'm now curious to rewatch the movie and see if that feels now too fast, since that'll be like a 100-minute version. I was in the 6-hour version, which adapted, I believe, every single page of that novel. But it was good. It was charming. I enjoy. But at the end, you got a warm heart. So, Pride and Prejudice, 4 hinges. And that's it for episode 94.
Woohoo!
Woo, we did it.
We did it. We
Yay.
really, really did.
We're good at it.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Let's not get cocky. I feel like we're at episode 250. We're really going to get a hang of this. But
We'll be fine.
we're not there yet. But we're one step closer. That means we need another number for next week's review. Someone ask our AI who hates me.
Not it.
Why? Why is this a burden for anyone to do
Just
this?
because.
Why? You invented her.
Number 91.
What?
I asked her in quiet.
No, you fucking did it. It's an
You just
audio
made
podcast.
it.
You know, I made the robot.
It's an audio podcast.
I mean, to be fair, his number is approximately as random as Marion's number is, because I'm pretty sure he
Thank
didn't look
you.
this up ahead of time.
And it's Pedro.
Son
Yeah.
of a bitch.
You know what? I bet Pedro programmed in all our numbers for Marion. Marion is just...
Conspiracy.
This is supposed to be random. All right. If 91 is
91's fine.
if 91 is Raiders Lost Ark, we're rerolling.
It wouldn't be.
Well, let's just check.
Do you know how years work?
I know how years work.
Well, the food's yuzu, which is cool.
What is that?
It's like a citrus Japanese thing.
The movie. Oh, this is great for October. Bride of Frankenstein.
Nice. The song is Johnny Be Good by Marty McFly.
Nice.
No.
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 By
No,
Chuck
no, no,
Berry.
no, no.
Chuck Berry.
By Chuck
I
Berry.
believe-
By Chuck Berry.
I believe Marty
As
McFly did it.
performed
By
by
fucking-
Marty
What is
McFly.
wrong with you?
No.
No.
I believe he
No,
invented
no,
rock and roll.
No.
No.
Actually,
No,
I'm pretty
no.
sure he did.
He did.
No.
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 We're gonna have fun time next week.
Oh, yeah.
What else do we have?
The album is The Velvet Underground and Nico by The Velvet Underground and Nico.
Cool.
The children's book is Who's Seen the Scissors? By Fernando Crayon.
Got a mystery next week. And the TV show is kind of a TV show. It is 7 Up, also known as the Up series. This is the documentary series interviewing about 15 kids when they were 7 and revisits them every 7 years. And they're now up to 56 up. It is a incredible thing. You should all check out. I'm making the pitch now.
Cool.
I think I prefer DNL.
What?
No? Just me?
Down and out.
No, DNL. It was the thing that 7-Up released after 7-Up. They just took 7-Up and flipped it upside down. That green soda.
What?
You guys don't remember DNL?
I do remember that. I just thought when you were like looking at me while I was talking that you were listening.
No.
Not just waiting for a dumb Sprite joke.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not Sprite, it's 7-Up.
It's 7-Up.
Shut up. All right. If you have any thoughts on this episode or any other episode, go over to theartofmore.com. While you're there, you can check out other podcasts, including Let's Take 5. Tomorrow we are finishing up our Andrei Tarkovsky 5 with Stalker. Very excited about that. And also, Ad Absurdum is out, I believe, this week with a new episode,
Yeah, we'll probably drop on October 3rd.
which was 2 days ago.
Which was 2 days ago.
What did you cover?
Oh, Inception.
Nope, stop. That's not a good pitch to listen to that audio. You can also email us at theimmortals@theartofmore.com. On Twitter, we're at theimmortalspod, run by our Captain Lee. And that's about it. Adam, all of his music will be found online at
Songsbyalord.com.
Pay Him to Make Stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back next week. Until then, write a iTunes review for us, or just tell a friend that they might enjoy this weirdo show. That'd be cool.
Yay.
Just tell one friend.
Just a friend.
But if you all tell the same friend, that's not
Or a
helpful.
stranger. Like, you can tell a stranger.
People walk by
I
you all
told
the time.
numerous strangers.
Hey, girl. All right. Anyhow, I'm Austin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
I almost said I'm Lee. Wow.
That's concerning.
What?
And I'm Pedro.
How are we?
Episode
Wow,
94,
that did
you
not
guys!
go well, guys.
Episode 94, we did it!
Yeah!
Perfect episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.